host, Dan Bongino.
So, folks, let's do some tough work today. This is a necessary show, and let me just tell you straight up, some of you out there may not like it because people have their favorites in politics, and I understand. This is a back and forth. Certain people I like because of their good outcomes in politics, outcomes first. Certain people I don't like because they may have led to some bad outcomes. Some people you might like. But let's do some vetting today because now this VP talk is out of control. Everybody's got an idea about who should be the VP, who should be what. We're going to go through some pros and cons, and I promise by the time we're done with this show, you're going to be like, we nailed it. Because everybody's got pros and cons. If Donald Trump, and he has not, by the way, at all, asked me to be VP, I would tell you, here are the pros, here are the cons. Believe me, there are a lot of cons. And I tell you, because this is too important a job. So we're going to do this today, and this is going to be the definitive guide to who the hell could be the VP. But Donald Trump makes the call. Hot damn Bongino. That should have been right. Thank you, Justin. It's very clever. Beam's Dream Powder. It's a science-backed hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino. That's shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for up to 45% off. Shopbeam.com/Bongino. Code Bongino for up to 45% off. As you can tell, had a lot of blackout coffee today. And we're going to go through some of the major candidates that have been mentioned by the mainstream media. And keep in mind, only one person knows who's going to be the vice president, and that's Donald Trump. And if I don't hear it from Chris Lasavita and Susie Wiles, who are running this campaign, then I don't believe that's the list. Hey, in these crazy days, we got to recharge and refresh in a natural way. To that end, I discovered Bone Charge. It's a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize life in every way. One of my favorite products from Bone Charge is the infrared sauna blanket. I'm obsessed with sauna. The health benefits are immeasurable. Go look it up online yourself. It's fantastic. The sauna blanket helps me break a sweat, which could help remove some of that garbage from your body and toxins. It sets up in less than a minute. Heats fast. I relax. I do about a half an hour. Last night I did 25 minutes because it was about 5 days in a row. I kid you not, the sauna blanket from Bone Charge is a game changer. It's great. You got to try it. Bone Charge ships worldwide, and the sauna blanket ships free with no hidden cost. Plus, Bone Charge offers a 30-day free trial with easy returns or exchanges and a 12-month warranty. Relax, revitalize, and refresh with Bone Charge and the sauna blanket. Bone Charge products are all HSA, FSA eligible, giving you tax savings up to 40%. Head over to bonecharge.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino to save 15%. That's over $100 off. All right, fellas, let's get to the vetting process because everybody seems to be fascinated by the palace intrigue of who these people are. Who's going to be the VP? Who's going to be the AG? I'm just going to say in advance, I think Attorney General is the most important position because I'm demanding investigations into what I believe to be massive breaches of the law in the conspiracy to interfere in the election and take down Donald Trump. Having said that, the VP's all over the news lately. Here was an NBC News report. We'll get right to it. Keep in mind, again, for the third time, I think, in this show, maybe second, doesn't matter. If NBC is saying it, it's probably bullshit. However, they're saying they have sources, whatever, that there are now 4 people who have been, it's been narrowed down who could be the possible VP in a Trump administration. Listen to this.
Tonight, the battle to be former President Trump's running mate heating up and the field narrowing. Sources tell NBC News Trump's shortlist of VP candidates have recently received vetting materials, and 4 men have emerged as this year's possible sweepstakes top contenders. 2 sources say Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and Florida Senator Marco Rubio are on the list. And one source says Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina is as well.
You don't hear it from Trump himself. I'm not sure I believe it. However, I think only an idiot would say, wouldn't you guys agree that those 4 probably aren't on the short list? Why? Because Donald Trump has said it. He said it openly in public that these people are being considered for spots in the administration. And you got to believe, given their stature, that the spot is likely vice president or something different. So, folks, before we go through the pros and cons of each one, I just want to get this out there in advance. Everybody ready? I don't want anyone misinterpret my words. On my life, if it was me, I'd tell you the same thing. The pros, here's the pros of Dan Bongino. Run for office before, even though I wasn't successful, understand campaigns, know how to raise money, love public speaking, passionate about conservatism. The cons, I say fuck a lot. Probably not a good thing. But I've been tweeting for a long time. I'm a pretty passionate guy. And no, that's not one of those compliments disguised as an insult kind of thing, or insults disguised as a compliment or whatever. Everybody has pros and cons. This stuff is going to come out. So I'm actually trying to do these guys a favor by getting ahead of it, because when you're vetted, of course, you're only going to tell the candidate the good stuff. So let's go through at least those four, and I'm going to throw in a few others who I think are on the short list. And I'm just guessing. No one in the Trump team has told me anything. I want to be clear about that. I'm going to throw in Ben Carson, Elise Stefanik, Tulsi Gabbard, Nikki Haley, Byron Donalds, and let's throw the wild card in Ron DeSantis. Just throw them all in there. I love Ron DeSantis as governor. There's a lot of ill will there. Put all that aside. It's not about emotion. None of this is personal. So let's get to it. Let's start number one with a guy who the media seems obsessed with lately as the VP, and I don't mean that in a good way. Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota. What are the pros of Doug Burgum? Well, Doug Burgum has a really, really amazing business history, knows a ton about business, reasonably successful governor, seems to have a good, a good grasp of politics and getting to understand people and the back and forth. Business owner. He talks the part, he acts the part, he looks the part. There's no doubt about that. He's got a pretty good personality that contrasts with President Trump. I think what you want in a candidate is you want a reflection of Doug Burgum. Hey, look at these guys. See, these guys are great. I said to him, I said, guys, I don't want to hand you elements. You guys do your own thing. You guys are talented. So his governor was an upset, wealthy software entrepreneur, supports fossil fuels and carbon capture. Good deal, right? He signed one of the nation's strictest abortion bans. This is the New York Times, of course, going after this guy. Now, this is the New York Times. So here are some of the cons of Doug Burgum. He's a relatively small state governor. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just giving you the facts. He's also from a state that is most likely to vote for Donald Trump. Justin, what do you think Donald Trump's going to win North Dakota by? 97 points, maybe? Maybe 98. Justin's like round up a little bit. He's major downside. He's not a no. Yes. See, these guys are beating me to the punch. This is brilliant. I had this written down right here. I'm not even kidding. Look, he's not really a known commodity. So if you believe that the VP has the potential to sway a few swing votes here and there, Doug Burgum's probably not going to be the guy because not many people know who he is. Not an insult. It's just true. Look at his national name ID. Okay. Also, candidly, he was not that great on the culture wars and some of the COVID stuff. Burgum, it's going to come out. I'm just saying, okay? Pros and cons. He is, however, a good foil to Donald Trump, and I mean that in a nice way. Sometimes different personalities gel together and they do really well. Wouldn't you agree? All right, let's try another one. Let's go to Tim Scott. This is it. This is your ultimate guide to VP vetting. We should sell this. Tim Scott. Here's the pros. Tim Scott's got a great backstory. No question about it. Guy busted his ass. He definitely was a middle-class guy growing up. No one's going to question that Tim Scott's experienced the scourge of racism, the whole DEI crap. Doesn't matter. They'll call him an Uncle Tom and all kinds of nasty bullshit anyway. But he's definitely got a killer backstory. Here's another big pro on Tim Scott. This is huge. Business people really, really like Tim Scott. I deal with a lot of business people, a lot of these high-end business folks. I'm not buddies with them. We don't go out for coffee clutches, but when you go to events, you run into them and funding events and stuff like that, and you meet a lot of them really, trust me, folks, really like Tim Scott. Why does that matter? Well, a lot of these business people are financing lobby groups and they're also financing campaigns. So to get a guy that the business community likes, we shouldn't be reflexively anti-business. I mean, we are still capitalists, right? They really love this guy. Here's another thing, too. He's a really good speaker in public. Sometimes he can be a little dry, but he definitely gets his point across, Tim Scott. And I'll say again, like the identity politics game, it's going to be really hard to call Tim Scott a racist. Does anybody know why? Anybody have any idea why? Oh, he's black. It's going to be really hard to call him a racist. Tim Scott hates black people. Really? Well, it's true. Isn't there an article out there? Tim Scott is a racist or something. White supremacist is the new face of. Was that about Tim Scott? Yeah, Larry Elder. That's right. Larry Elder was like the new face of white supremacy. Okay, let me rewind that because you guys are right. Let's just say it'll make it a little bit harder among sane people. Yes, liberals will say whatever they want. Liberals will say crazy shit like Tim Scott's a white supremacist, Ku Klux Klan member. We get it. But sane people are going to obviously realize that's total bullshit, okay? So wait, we got through 2. Let's get through a couple more. Marco Rubio, again, NBC saying Rubio's one of the finalists. One of the pros to Rubio, again, great backstory, unquestionably appeals to, Miami voters and Florida voters in a swing state. Another guy who's a really good speaker, solid debater, not great debater, but a solid debater. Also, Rubio, if you're old enough to remember like me, I don't know if you guys are old enough, but he's one of the original Tea Party guys. Him defeating Charlie Crist down here in Florida for the Senate seat was a huge upset. Having said that, Rubio, there's some cons too, okay? The Barack Obama era amnesty thing, he's attached to that. It's going to happen. It's going to come up. Can he say I evolved on the issue? People evolve on issues all the time. Is it necessarily, fatal for Rubio? I don't think so. But however, he's going to have to explain that. Another con, he's from the same state as Donald Trump. There are a number of workarounds from that, but there's some constitutional issues, the VP and the presidential nominee being from the same state. So they're going to, it's not fatal at all. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Also, there are some big issues surrounding Rubio and what happened during the Spygate stuff. Folks, when Spygate went down in the Mueller investigation, I got to tell you personally, I was very disappointed in Rubio. I thought he should have taken a stronger stand. He had the ability on some of these committees to really nail these people to the wall. And some people think he kind of took a bit of a back seat. Again, is this stuff fatal for a vice presidential nominee? I don't know. Again, you guys tell me your opinion. I'm just giving you the pros and cons. It's my job. You guys are going to ultimately make your pick. And I'm going to tell you something. The Trump team really cares what you have to say. It's one of the benefits of having a presidential nominee who doesn't flip you the double-barrel middle finger. So what you say online about these candidates is going to matter. Now, these are the top 4. So Burgum, Tim Scott, Rubio, and Vance, again, according to NBC, okay? I'm a little biased with this last one, J.D. Vance. I'm going to tell you in advance, I'm trying to be objective here, but it's hard because I really like J.D. Vance a lot. I think J.D. Vance would be the best pick for the vice president. My opinion, you are welcome to yours. That's a great part about a constitutional republic, the back and forth exchange. We all have freedom of speech. Express your opinion. Let me know in the chat. I like J.D. Vance a lot. Here's some of the pros of J.D. Vance. He's young. I believe he's only 39. How old is he? Can you guys look? I'm not even sure he's 40 yet. So I like the fact that he's young and kind of 39. Thank you, Michael. So 39 years old. The guy is a really fantastic debater. His resume is second to none. What's that? A master? You got to say those words slow. Guy just did it right. Guy wants to know if he's a master debater. If you don't delay between those two words, you're in a lot of trouble. There are some words you can't say together. If someone asks if you saw something, you can't say, I did not see it. Say it fast and you'll see what I mean. You can't say these words, master debater. I would say he's a master debater, like a Jedi level debater. You see him on TV, he's fantastic. I believe he's a lawyer, was a Marine, served his country. Resume really second to none. You're not going to see a better, you may see as good, but you're not going to see a better resume. Here's another thing I like about J.D. Vance and why I think he'd be great. Having grown up in a really poor portion of America and seeing his town hollowed out, he understands this new populist wing of the Republican Party. And that's always used as a pejorative, populist, meaning the way you talk about like Taylor Swift's music is popular. Like, yeah, only idiots like Taylor Swift. You get what I'm saying? Well, they may be idiots, but she's making $1 billion a year. Clearly, she's tapped into something, whether you like her or hate her. I mean, I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, obviously, but you get the point. JD is tapped into something. You can hate it, you can laugh at him, you can scoff at him, but he seems to understand the struggles of middle America. That's why he won in a freaking landslide in Ohio. Here's the con, and these are big ones. These are the cons. And it pains me to say it because I really like this guy, but there's just going to be an experience issue there. It's going to be brought up, and he has to have an answer for it. He's a first-term senator. You could. I mean, I hate to. I'm not making the comparison. Don't take this the wrong way, and he shouldn't bring this up, but it's true. I mean, the Democrats are going to have a tough time attacking him. Barack Obama was a first-term U.S. senator. Yeah, he'd been a state senator before, but so Democrats would be like, "You guys kidding me? Like that's such a bullshit, stupid line." You know what your Messiah was a first-term senator. I wouldn't bring it up because you don't want to compare yourself to Obama, but you get the point. And one of the cons is actually one of the pros. He's young. He's younger than me. I mean, I'm 10 years older than J.D. Vance. That's insane. How the hell am I 10 years older than J.D. Vance? That's not even real. That's like the weird, I'm 49 years old. He's 39. So some people could attack him. I think it's a benefit, but I could see some people attacking him as a con. All right. Let's go through a couple more. I'm not going to go in such detail with them because these are the top four. Again, at least according to NBC. Big grain of salt there. You get the point. Another name I've heard brought up is Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds, congressman from Florida, District 19. Great backstory. Awesome on school choice. Family's been fighting for school choice forever. Another guy who, though, would have an experience issue. He's only been in Congress for a couple of terms. Also young as well. My opinion about Byron Donalds, I think Byron Donalds would be the most amazing Secretary of Education you've ever seen. Folks, I'm giving you some inside baseball, but him and his family have a deep body of experience with school choice. They would be freaking bananas as a Department of Secretary of Education. Insane. I mean, off the charts good. Donalds would be amazing. He knows so much about this. I know it's not because I love him too. I'd like to see him as governor of Florida personally. But having said that, that seat is safe, Florida 19. How do I know about Florida 19? Anybody know? Because I ran there and got my ass kicked there in Florida. I know the district well. No Democrat is going to win that seat. He could go be Secretary of Education for 2 years, 3 years, build up his resume, come back, and he could run for president. I mean, Byron Donalds he's that good. He's that talented of a politician. Of course, you got Elise Stefanik. I think she's going to have a name ID issue big time if she runs. Not the best conservative voting history either. However, she's been a bit of a fireball up on Capitol Hill lately. Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is a no-go. I'm just going to throw that out. I like Tulsi Gabbard very much. Served the country. She's a very nice lady. I met her a couple times. She's always been super kind to me. None of this is personal. However, Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat and was a Democrat for a long time. We need a conservative out there. There's enough good Republican options. This is not a personality contest, folks, and I'm sorry. It's going to be very nice, but that's out. Nikki Haley, way too much bad blood there. I'm sorry. She could have a spot in the administration. I don't know, maybe Secretary of State if Donald Trump and her can, smoke the peace pipe, whatever. But no, I don't see a VP. And I'll throw one more in there, and we'll move on. Ron DeSantis. Ladies and gentlemen, it'd be crazy not to consider him for something. He's got a loyal following. He's been a conservative governor. If they can, again, put all their differences aside, DeSantis, total outsider pick. I don't think it would be VP, but Secretary of Defense, I don't think you'd find a better guy out there. And I tell you what, I'd like to see Mike Lee as Attorney General. That's my pick for Attorney General. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the ultimate VP vetting guide. Now, again, could Trump come out with a total wild card? Some business person you've never seen before? He could. And unless I hear it from the insiders in the Trump campaign, I don't believe anything I hear from NBC. All right, I'll let you all stew on that. Remember that old Saturday Night Live thing with the coffee clutch? You guys go ahead. You think about that for a little bit. I'm going to take a quick break. Here's what I got on the other side of this break. This is what you're running against. He did it again yesterday, Biden. And I'm calling serious bullshit on something he put out in an interview yesterday. He put out in an interview this absolute nonsense about not pardoning his son if Hunter Biden's convicted. Ladies and gentlemen, throw that right in the garbage can in the back of the restaurant. There is zero chance he doesn't pardon his kid if he's convicted. He's hoping for jury nullification. That's what that's about. Oh, nice. iTarget Pro is back. We haven't seen him in a while, right? We love me some iTarget Pro. I use this once or twice a week. Hey, Father's Day is coming up. And what's a better gift for dad than the iTarget Pro laser training system at itargetpro.com. It's a letter I. Folks, I like it. My father loves it, but this is how I train with my firearm. If you're not training with your firearm, it's just dead weight, man. You got to be able to be safe with it, but proficient. Using a laser round and an app that runs on your phone, you can see exactly where your shots are hitting using the iTarget Pro system. It allows you to safely practice shooting your actual firearm anytime, anywhere. iTarget comes in most calibers, from 9mm to .223, so you can train with almost any firearm. Not only that, but iTarget Pro saves you time and money and ammo costs and range fees, allowing you to practice more often. Train safe, train smart, train with iTarget. I'm telling you, I absolutely love this product. They've been with me for years. I've been using it forever. Right now, save 10% on the iTarget Pro. Plus, get free shipping with the offer code DAN at checkout. Here's the website, itargetpro.com. That's the letter I, I-T-A-R-G-E-T, pro.com. Offer code DAN to save 10% on the iTarget Pro and get free shipping. That's itargetpro.com. Folks, it's a really amazing system. Got to be proficient with that firearm or else it's just dead weight. Okay. Folks, this is what you're running against. We have no choice but to win this election. If Joe Biden were to win, number one, the border would be finished. We wouldn't have a country left. You'd have 40, 50 million people in the country who don't belong here. It would be open season. The border would completely evaporate. Forget it. It would be nuts. Look at this guy. You think this guy's going to make it 4.5 more years? Gets out of the car yesterday up in France. And I want you to watch this. How many times I got to tell you I did this for a living? This guy's given detailed instructions on what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He pops out of the car and he's sitting there in this fugue state like he's always in. And he doesn't know what to do because he's lost. They give him and not only that, right before he got out of his car, you see that guy? He's the boss, the guy who's right. He's a good man. I'm not going to tell you his name, obviously. The person holding the door there is the number one whip. Go back to that video again. Play it again. I'm going to walk you through this. So, the number one whip is the rank and file agent who's kind of the most senior person that day who's supervising the op. So she's holding the door to make sure he doesn't back into the door. They do it for everyone. That's not new to Biden. He's holding the corner of the door so nobody kind of splits their head open on the door. But he's given a briefing by his staff in the car and maybe even by the boss there to the right what he's supposed to do. Look, the guy has no idea. He gets out of the car. He was just told probably 10 seconds before that door opened, bro, here's what you're going to do. You're going to walk out of the car. Look at the guy has no freaking idea. Folks, this is not funny, okay? I know we put these clips up and, once we laugh about it, sometimes it's so ridiculous, but this is real. This is the freaking commander-in-chief. The guy's mental capacity is that of, seriously, like a 7-year-old right now. He was just told what to do, and he's looking around like a space cadet. He may leave office, by the way. He may leave office if he wins again. A matter of fact, I think what they're hoping for, this is my theory, you take it, you leave it. This is the Dan Bongino theory, is if Joe Biden wins, I think he serves, say, another year or so. God forbid any of this happens. And you guys, remember I said this. So flag that sucker and write it down because I'm telling you, I don't even want, because if he wins, I don't even want to know. It'll be a different show. He serves a year, does the craziest, nuttiest liberal stuff imaginable. Locks up a bunch of conservatives, 60 FBI on everyone, completely opens the border, destroys voting rules in the country. He's going to do all of that. And he leaves office after a year and Kamala Harris takes over. He is not leaving office, however, if his son Hunter's convicted in this ongoing case. He is absolutely not leaving office without pardoning him. Here's the New York Post headline. Biden says if he won't pardon Hunter, says he won't pardon Hunter if the first son is convicted of gun charges. He is absolutely going to pardon him before he leaves. And if he loses, I will be stunned if he doesn't. On one condition, let me throw a caveat in there. One, I think Hunter's going to get off because it's going to be jury nullification. Got to be careful with that. Hunter getting off, as you well know, that can mean a lot of different things, okay? It's a family for which, well, sometimes. That's what we're trying. Here's what he'll do. He'll wait to see what the sentence is. If the sentence is some kind of community service thing, he's not going to pardon him. If the sentence is any significant jail time at all, I'll throw that caveat in there. 100% he pardons. There is zero chance he lets his son go to jail. Zero. Because, and for those of you out there thinking, oh, why, Dan, what are you saying? He's some nice father and he would suffer if his son was in jail. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. He doesn't want his son flipping on him. I need you all to remember this. I've told you this for 2-3 years now. The reason Biden's pretending to be this good dad, looking out over his kid, is because he doesn't want his kid to flip on him and say how deeply his dad was involved in the business operation and the influence peddling scheme. That's it. Attribute nothing more than mercenary motives to Joe Biden, and you will always be correct. You in any way thinking Joe Biden, oh, he's a good dad, he would suffer so much if he sees his father and his son in jail. Bullshit. That is not at all what he cares about. He doesn't want his son to flip on him because that would be the end of the whole thing. And his family and his surrogates, ladies and gentlemen, are no better. No better. Let me take a quick break, but there's a damning segment on Piers Morgan. And folks, this is not it's not long. It's about a minute. It's not one of these electric debates back and forth where people are screaming and someone gets owned and wrecked. However, it's the daughter. It's the daughter of Hunter Biden, the mom, the Hunter Biden's baby mama, right? She's on Piers Morgan. She says something, and as a dad, I got to tell you, man, you want to talk about a kick in the nuts. I thought, you have got to be kidding me. And the way she says it so cavalierly. These are who these people are, folks. These are who these people are. Take a quick break. I'll get back to that. And then Jim Clyburn, the lead Biden surrogate, just wrecking himself on Neil Cavuto, which was beautiful. Hey, Father's Day is almost here. You struggling to find a perfect gift for the man who has everything? The solution's simple. Give him the unforgettable experience of Omaha Steaks. Because a world-class dad deserves a world-class steak. The Father's Day experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to put a smile on the big guy's face with hand-selected gift packages starting at just $89 when you go to omahasteaks.com and you use promo code Bongino at checkout. With Omaha Steaks, the possibilities are endless. Endless flavor, endless variety, and endless value. Truly, they perfected more than steak, and your dad's guaranteed to love every bite just like I do. Pick from premium proteins like the juicy pork chops, air-chilled chicken, and the beefy burgers. Guy's favorite. Time's running out. Don't wait till the last minute. Michael, Guy can teach you the techniques of how to steal from the freezer downstairs. It's not really stealing because we allow it, but go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code Bongino at checkout. Shop for unforgettable gifts that are guaranteed to make Dad's Day. Because if there's one thing Omaha Steaks knows, it's dads want steak. Visit omahasteaks.com today. Shop packages starting at just $89 when you use my promo code Bongino at checkout. That's it. Go now before it's too late. Minimum order may be required. Please visit omahasteaks.com for details. And our last sponsor before this video, Genucel. Summer's right around the corner, so are those visible dark marks, sunspots, and other blemishes that the sun leaves behind. Until now, the revolutionary dark spot corrector from our friends at Genucel Skincare can help visibly fade away dark marks, sunspots, scars, and other signs of discoloration all over your skin. With 3 cutting-edge ingredients, help those visible signs of aging disappear right before your eyes. You'll be amazed at how quickly you can see results. You can now enjoy your summer sun, beach, and barbecues without those pesky spots. As always, you'll see the results or your money back, no questions asked. And right now, get your dark spot corrector with every Genucel Skincare most popular package for over $70 off. Plus, save an extra 25% off automatically applied at checkout for world-class skincare that works. Guaranteed or your money back. Order yours right now and get the Genucel 90 instant for immediate results on all of your trouble spots in as little as 12 hours. Genucel.com/Dan, Genucel.com/Dan. Visit GENUCEL.com/Dan now. Get a free spa box with 2 bonus gifts and free shipping. Genucel.com/Dan, Genucel.com/Dan. Okay. Here's a video I'm talking about. Folks, this is a really, really disturbing video here. Hunter Biden's baby's mother, the girl, Navy, who the family refuses to recognize and is treated horribly in one of the most disgusting episodes I've ever seen. If this doesn't show you and demonstrate to you fully what I've been warning you about the Bidens, it's not that they're bad character, folks. There are a lot of bad actors in politics, and sometimes there can be some good outcomes. Politics attracts bad people. But, folks, there are levels of bad people. Can we all agree on that? There's white liars. There's then serial murderers. So there's levels of malfeasance. These are really garbage people. Hunter Biden's never met his daughter. Watch the way the mom talks about this on Piers Morgan. Like it's nobody, he's never met his daughter. The child is 5 years old. Oh, they do a Zoom call or something. What? Watch this.
She's now 5. Do you have plans for them to actually physically meet?
Yeah, I'm sure. Me and Hunter haven't worked the details out with that, but I mean, like the world knows, Hunter has a lot on his plate right now, and so I think that needs to be his main focus, and getting through this time, and then the rest can come after. And you know, Navy's well aware. She knows that her father's very busy right now, and he's got a lot of things going on, and she's waited 5 years. She can wait a couple more months.
You know, my whole crew is here. Michael, Justin, Guy, and Michael's like, I couldn't wait to see this video air because I think we're all sitting here stunned. He's never met his 5-year-old daughter in 5 years. Listen, I'm not playing. This is not a reflection on the mom, okay? I get what she's trying to do there. I totally understand. Folks, I have 2 daughters. Now, listen, I'm not sure I'm ever going to win any Father of the Year myself, okay? I don't put myself on any kind of pedestal, and I'm certainly not going to write a book about fatherhood. But for all my struggles, and we've been through a lot, I haven't always been the best at a lot of things. I was an agent for 12 years. My oldest daughter, Isabel, you know, was a young girl when I was on the president's detail for 5 years. Folks, I was on the road probably 280 to 300 days a year, traveling around on advances with the president. And remember, when he goes on a trip, if you're on the advance team, you're there 2 weeks before he gets there. You do 2 advances back to back, you're gone the whole month. When I came home, my daughter was number one. When I came home, my daughter was number one. Number one. I lived in a neighborhood called Stewart's Landing in Maryland. Nice neighborhood, middle-class neighborhood. And there was a little park. And I would take my daughter to the park, and I push her on the swing. And I would take my daughter to the park. I've got these great videos of me and her playing. She can barely do basketball. The basketball's too heavy for her. She can't even get it to the rim. It doesn't matter. I was there, and those are priceless memories. Now, my youngest daughter's been luckier because I get to work close to home, and so she sees me a lot more. 5 years, man, you've never met your kid. Not faulting this woman at all. This woman's been a victim of this predatory family. But I want you to understand, these people come from bad, awful stock. I understand Hunter Biden's not running for president. His dad is. But remember, you guys remember this? It was his dad who said Hunter Biden, what did he say? He was like the finest guy he knows or something? Really? Smartest guy he knows. 5 years, folks. All the dads out there, can you imagine? Serious question. I'm not messing with you, brothers and sisters. Brothers in this case, because we know the difference between male and female. Is there any scenario outside of prison or being sent to the Phantom Zone like Superman 2, where 5 years go by and you don't see your son or daughter? I think you know the answer. Like father likes, you're damn right. Is exactly who we learned these lessons from. You gonna vote for more of this? You can knock Donald Trump all you want. I've met his kids, all of them. And they have amazing personalities. I'll tell you something right now. This is not a whole look, I know people. I don't know anyone. I forget it. Who cares? I'm telling you for the purpose of this segment. I could do it to you right now on the show if I wasn't trying to be like the gamer. I text Eric Trump or Donald Trump right now and say, hey, I need a favor. 10 seconds they get back to you if they're not doing something. Every single time. Tiffany and Ivanka too. They'll get back. They will do anything for you. Great kids. I guarantee you it hasn't been 5 years since they've seen their kids. Oh yeah, and Donald Trump's the bad guy. Whatever, man. This is him and his surrogates. This is who this guy is. It's not just his family. Again, it's his surrogates too. Why am I bringing up surrogates? Because this clown got this guy elected. You know who Jim Clyburn is? He's a congressman from South Carolina. Jim Clyburn, make no mistake, Joe Biden is president only because of James Clyburn. That is it. How? I don't remember that. You better remember it because it happened. Bernie Sanders, Bloomberg, he was getting his ass kicked, Biden. Biden got smoked in the early caucus and primary states when he was running in 2020 because he's a goon. That's why, and a loser. And because the centrist flank, what was left of it, of the Democrat Party, was so afraid. Do you remember this? Of Bernie Sanders getting the nomination because they knew Trump would smoke him? They had to go rescue Joe Biden. So Jim Clyburn went out and made this big racial appeal to have voters save Joe Biden in the state of South Carolina. That's the only reason this guy is president. So Clyburn feels married to this guy now. So he goes on with Cavuto yesterday. I mean, Cavuto's no big Trump guy. I mean, can we all get that? And Cavuto just smokes him. Cavuto asked him a simple question. This is what you're running on, like paying off people's student loans with other people's money? I want you to listen to the answer. Because if there's ever an interview that so describes the shitbird left and all the lies they tell you, this is it. He asked him a simple question. Hey, Congressman, who's paying for all this stuff? I want you to listen to his answer. This is what you get when you vote for libs who clearly believe there's a money fairy out there. Check this out.
What has happened in the last 4 years on student debt, for instance? Joe Biden has eliminated, just in public service student loan debt alone, over $60 billion for people saddled with student loan debt.
And who's paying for that, Congressman? It's all well and good, but who's paying for it?
What do you mean who's paying for it?
Who's paying for that? Who's paying for that debt relief? Who's doing it?
Nobody is paying for that relief.
No one's paying. Justin, you're in college, right? You're the smartest one. Justin's the smartest one. He's in college now. He's learning. He's learning. His brain's expanding. Allegedly. He wants to know if that's what happens in college. Have you ever heard of a situation like that? Where nobody's paying for something, yet everybody's getting money. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Because you're getting money, right? Like you go to college, right? Have you met a janitor, a teacher's assistant, a professor, an administrator, or like the electric company providing electric to the campus that's not getting paid? Have you met them yet? You have not. Okay. You have not. So it's not a commune. People are getting paid. So where's the money coming from, Justin? Any ideas? Not the money fairy. Not the money fairy. So somebody's paying for it. So I'm asking people out there, please don't be stupid if you're a lefty. This guy is lying to your face. The answer is taxpayers are paying for it. They're giving the government money, which the government is stealing, to then go give to colleges to pay for someone else's education so they can make more money at your expense. That's exactly what's happening here. Who's paying for it? Nobody. I have never seen a clip so sum up the canoe left more than that one. He really thinks it's not that Clyburn's dumb. Clyburn's not dumb. He's not. Again, it may give you some temporary kind of adrenaline burst to, he's not dumb. He thinks you're dumb. That's the problem. He thinks you're stupid. They're panicking, by the way, too. They know what's up. By the way, I have to give you a quick update. I didn't bruise, but a little hole. So I had blood work done. I'm terrified of blood work. I get it. And make fun of me all you want. I deserve it. I can usually take a decent amount of pain. I'm not like some UFC fight or anything, but not blood. I hate it. I had to get like 22 gallons of blood taken yesterday because I do all these various tests and everything like that. And I took another one of those Gallery Grail cancer things. So we'll see how that goes. I've got 2 negatives in a row, which is awesome. But I was sitting there yesterday and I'm doing it. And the lady's like, man, every time it's always you big dogs, like every single time. She's like, it's never like the 5'1" dude who's like $120. He comes in, he's like, yeah, man, stick that cannula in there, suck that blood out like a vampire. She's like, I get these like bodybuilders and boxers and like door kickers in here. And they're like, I can't look, man. I can't look. I can't make me think about put some music on or something. That's me. That's me. I was sitting there yesterday like this. I swear. It was an unintentional flex there. I promise. Look at me. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I can't even look. I can't watch this. And the fact that it had to go on forever. I'm like, can we just get is there like a super vacuum? You just suck it all out at once or something? I was freaking out. But I made it. I made it. Dan, you sound like you're being overly dramatic. I am. I totally get it. Chat, you are welcome to poke fun at me all you want. I actually enjoy it because I deserve it. That's why I tell you these stories. All right, back to the serious stuff. I had to give you an update. Actually, a bunch of people asked me about it. How did it go? Okay. I walked out of there in one piece. It's all right. Be like I just walked through like a torture chamber or something like that. They're panicking, brothers. They are panicking. They so know what's up. I had Julie Kelly on my radio show yesterday, who is the best. We love her. We absolutely love Julie Kelly. Stand with her 100%. One of the best reporters out there. And we were talking about something I mentioned on the podcast yesterday, and it was the takeaway. And I hope you remembered it. Brain tattoo. Brain tattoo. These people who did this, Spygate, the Mueller probe, these people who put together the fake impeachment, number one, fake impeachment, number two, Fonnie Willis, the Jack Smith, the Alvin Bragg thing, all of the cabal, the deep state cabal we discussed at length yesterday who did this. Folks, their biggest fear is not being put in jail. I know that sounds weird. I'm not telling you they want to go to jail. They don't. The Comeys, the Clappers, they don't. But that's not their fear. They'll come out of jail. They'll maybe do a month. And I promise you, they'll get a $10 million book deal and a show on MSNBC. They're not really worried about that. They are worried about an investigation uncovering the paperwork that'll prove for the history books that these scumbags and these 51 intelligence officials that wrote that letter about the laptop, they are really afraid that if the Republicans ever take a long-term control of government and the culture, that they are going to go down as history's biggest dogs. They're going to go down as the Skeletors in the He-Man comic. That's it. And that's what they're afraid of. This is why right now, every single narrative, every single day, just go to Political Playbook, Washington Post, New York Times today, all the left-wing outlets. They are terrified of us starting investigations into their potential criminality the minute we get in there. And that's another reason we should do it. Right as I was putting the show together yesterday, I subscribed to the New York Times email list. Why? Because I want to see what these crazies are talking about. This popped up. The GOP push for post-verdict payback. They want to fight fire with fire. You're damn freaking right we do. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it was Michael Anton. If it's not, forgive me, but he's got this line. The only way the left is going to learn to stop doing this, the only way, is if we impose upon them real material losses, finances, freedom, but most important, reputation. You need to get in their heads for a second. These guys think they're the good guys. They're convinced they're the good guys. They think they're fighting some Adolf Hitler-like figure. I know it's stupid. I get it. Just think like a moron for a second. I know it's hard to do because you're not a lefty. But for a second, dump 20 IQ points. They believe they're fighting Hitler. If you really thought Hitler, demonic figure in human history, right? We all get it. There's that old, if you could go back and take out Hitler at 21, would you do it and save all these lives? Forget about the butterfly effect for a minute and all the other complicated stuff. But most people would be like, my gosh, that would be just an amazing opportunity to wipe this stain of history out early. This is what they think they're doing. Do you understand that? This is how they justify everything like this Fox News report. Steve Bannon going to prison. How the hell is Steve Bannon going to prison? Hey, can we go out of order a little bit, that Eric Holder thing? But that right, I got an Eric Holder. This is how insane these people are. I want you to understand what you're dealing with. You're thinking through this logically. Like, oh my gosh, how could you sacrifice democracy to try to save democracy? Sounds like George W. Bush when he's like, we got to scrap capitalism to save capitalism during the recession. No, that doesn't work. That's not how any of this works. That's how you prolong the disaster. They really believe what they're doing is morally correct. I know it's insane. I know these people are evil and demonic. But listen, you want to talk about a lack of self-awareness? Listen to this appearance by Eric Holder on, was it CNN? This is just the other day. He's talking about the Trump ruling and all this other stuff and what happens if Republicans get into office and how oh my gosh, they may weaponize the justice system to go after their enemies. Keep in mind the entire time, Eric Holder defied a congressional subpoena like Steve Bannon, and Eric Holder is on CNN doing hits while Steve Bannon's going to report to jail soon. Total lack of self-awareness here at all. But this is a mirror into their souls. Watch this.
If the president told a compliant attorney general, I don't like what this congressman said about me or did to me over the course of the last 2-3 years, whatever, open an investigation on that person. That attorney general could tell a compliant United States attorney to do just that. Talk to a compliant FBI director who could be replaced by the president, to open an investigation, and then to just look through that person's life and look for anything that you possibly can find. Who's to say what you find in any person's life that might run afoul of the law? And even beyond that, the mere fact of an investigation of a person who is a public figure can be reputation ruining, can be politically damaging, not even if you find anything, just the fact that the investigation itself exists. And if you've got the full weight of the Justice Department, the full weight of the presidency, the full weight of the FBI focusing on somebody like that, that can be extremely damaging to not only that person individually, but to our democracy writ large.
Holy shit. Is this guy living on Krypton? I get it. You're laughing, maybe crying at this. I totally understand. But do you see that this guy that makes a world of sense? He really believes he's on the right side of this. Fast and Furious guy. They targeted the IRS. Remember in the Obama administration? Opened the borders, engaged in all kinds of different malfeasance with the VA. This guy's disgusting. He's garbage. He's been fighting for racial gerrymanders to destroy the power of the people, the one man, one vote principle, defied a congressional subpoena. He's actually describing the Biden Attorney General's office right now. And yet with no sense of fear or worry at all that he'll be mocked. He's on a show discussing weaponizing the Justice Department as if it's not happening right now. This is a window into the soul of these people. The reason we play these clips is so critical, that you understand what we're dealing with. They are not going to learn. Back to what I told you a second ago about Anton's real material losses principle. You think you're going to logic your way out of this with this guy? What are you going to do? Write him a letter? Send him an email? Write an op-ed in the Washington Post? He's not listening to me or you. He will listen to reputational damage if he's exposed for being a part of the cabal to take out Donald Trump in the conspiracy to steal an election. If there's an investigation into him and there's jail time at the end, he ain't going to like it. But they're worried about their reputations. Please trust me on that. I got a few more good videos for you on a Friday. Well, one's bad, one good, but it just goes to show you again what we're fighting. Folks, you've seen it over and over again. This stuff is really bad. Oh, by the way, yeah, throw this up. This is the Julie Kelly thing. I'm sorry. This is Julie Kelly found this out here. This is crazy, folks. You want to see how bad our justice system has been weaponized? That thing you have up on the prompter now. Just look at this for a second if you're watching on Rumble. This is how freaking crazy the country is right now. So one of the reasons they want to throw Steve Bannon in jail for defying the congressional subpoena, this is some third world bullshit right here. Look at the highlights. The great Julie Kelly found this. Throughout the prosecution of Bannon, as described above, Bannon has leveraged his media platform, probably talking about War Room, to mock members of the committee through offensive name-calling and deride the committee's investigation through rhetoric that risks inspiring violence and ridicules the justice system through hyperbole. What the This is some Kim Jong-un shit. So now, again, just to be clear, Donald Trump is gagged. You charge Steve Bannon with another made-up crime that Eric Holder's on TV bragging about. But if Steve Bannon goes on his show, War Room, and makes fun of these idiots for the police state, they're going to use it as a reason to imprison them and then write it down. Michael said, name calling, folks. Sorry, folks. This is many days in a row, but doesn't even want to stand up. Even it's embarrassed. They're putting this down in writing now. Don't you name call the regime the regime. throw your ass right in jail. Here's some more crazy shit we're dealing with. You hear this story in Connecticut? If you're a Connecticut voter, by the way, how are you still voting blue? They've destroyed that state. Democrats have decimated the state of Connecticut. It used to be a refuge for people looking to get away from the New York crazy. They moved to Connecticut. I remember growing up. Now it's become almost as crazy as New York. Police officers killed a trooper in Connecticut. So the blue line flag, which honors the heroes of law enforcement. Blue line flag. There's nothing controversial about it. If you're not a dipshit, this little town in Connecticut decided, yeah, we're not going to lower it to half staff, the blue line flag. We're going to lower the pride flag. No, this is not a Babylon Bee story. This is real. Libs of TikTok had this out on her account. Chaya, this is just absolutely disgusting. Check this out.
It was a pride ceremony today at Wethersfield Town Hall. Governor Lamont in attendance. The flagpole at the center of the controversy. At last night's council meeting, Councillor Rich Bailey requested the town fly the American Blue Line flag in honor of TFC Aaron Pelletier, who was killed in the line of duty. Town council voted it down. What does the Blue Line flag mean to you?
Represent racism and antagonism to many, many people. And even if you don't personally believe that and you fly it at your own house and you think it means something to you that's much more positive, it's just not how many people feel about it. It's not appropriate to raise over our town hall, especially when our flag policy prohibits us from doing anything that's associated with hate.
Who said that? Who said they're trying to provoke people? Is that you, Michael? 100%. Folks, just like the Julie Kelly thing, the documents about Bannon I just showed you, I want you to understand what he just said is 100% spot on. They're just trying to provoke you now. They're waiting for a violent response. Do not give it to them. Do not fear assembling. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, don't show up there. No. Your right to assemble is God-given. No. But they want a violent response. Do not give it to them under any circumstances, because that is going to be their predicate for a massive crackdown. That's why they're doing this. They're poking. Imagine this is a stick and not a gavel. They're poking. Was it Justin said, what are they going to do? Fold up the pride flag and give it to the... I mean, are you serious? It's just disgusting stuff. However, it is Friday, so I don't want to leave you kind of on a bad note. You know this... Guy, how do you say his name? Poilievre? I always say it wrong. Poilievre? Pierre Poilievre. He's a conservative politician up in Canada. This guy is one of the best debaters. He had our audio video clip of the year last year when he was chewing on the apple or whatever and just ripping this media guy to shreds. This is what I'm talking about by the ability to debate. Flipping this back to the beginning of the show when we were talking about VP candidates, if you're not a skilled debater, and a lot of those guys are really good. Byron Donalds is excellent. Rubio's a good debater. J.D. Vance is a master debater. They're very good. They're very good. If you're not a good debater, it's really, really hard for you to be on the national stage these days because clips go viral like that. If you get caught, you get caught. Pierre Poilievre, he's amazing. So he's at this press conference. I'm going to play about a minute of it. And some reporter's like, why are you standing in the way of Prime Minister Trudeau, the communist? I'm saying that. The communist spending all this money on housing. We got to get people in all these houses. And Poilievre's like, the guy spent like millions and billions of dollars and we haven't even built anything. He's like, I don't disagree. The math disagrees. This is a classic in how to debate these media lunatics. Watch this.
It's not a matter of me disagreeing. It's a mathematical fact. He's not delivering. It's a mathematical fact that 9 years ago when I was housing minister, the average rent for a one bedroom was $973. Now it's $2,000. Right? These are the facts. So has he spent a lot of money on housing programs? Yes. He spent $89 billion on housing affordability, and the result is that housing costs have doubled. The problem is he's putting the money into bureaucracy. Government bureaucrats don't build homes. Private sector builders do. Government bureaucrats are in the way. So we need to get the government bureaucracy out of the way and deliver fast, affordable permits to build the homes. 1/3 of the cost of every newly built home in Ontario is government permits and taxes. 1/3. That's more than we spend on the labor to build the home. So we're spending more on the bureaucrats who don't build anything than we do on the carpenters, framers, plumbers, and electricians who build. Isn't that insane?
The guys are like, man, some of these Canadians, there's a conservative movement in Canada. Yeah, man, there's actually a history of a strong conservative movement in Canada. Go back and look. They did more about their national debt decades ago than we did for a while. And then the team here brought up a great point. Contrast Pierre there. Let me say his last name wrong. Sorry, no disrespect. Contrast what he did there, explaining the inherent fault in most government programs with James Clyburn. When asked a simple question, who's going to pay for all this student loan stuff? Oh, nobody's going to pay. This is the difference. I did not put that in the show. And it was a beautiful contrast to sum up this show perfectly. I should have thought of that. Contrast these idiots on the left with people on the right. People on the right, like Pierre Poilievre, tell you the truth, however painful it is. Yeah, you can do all the government spending you want on housing. You're going to get shit housing, a big government bureaucracy, and you're not going to get a quarter of what you want before the taxpayers go broke. With James Clyburn. Oh, everybody gets free tuition. Really? Who's going to pay? Well, nobody. You want to vote for that, or you want to vote for conservative politicians who will actually tell you the truth? I think the answer is crystal clear. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. It was a great week, man. Totally bananas, bonkers numbers this week. Thanks to you. Please spread the word. Tell people to watch the show 11 a.m. Eastern time. You can watch it on your computer if you just type in rumble.com/Bongino. You can watch it anytime on demand, of course, but we're live at 11. Download the Rumble app. It's free. You'll get a notification every day. And please give us a follow on Apple and Spotify. Keep us on those charts. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Hey, big news. Evita and Jim will be filling in on the radio show. It's Evita's first video appearance on the Rumble live video channel. So there is a live video show today. Evita's super excited about doing it. You're going to love her. So stay here, rumble.com/Bongino if you want to watch Evita on my radio show. I'm going to do I got to jump. I'm going to go do a audio recording and video on the Ben Shapiro show. So I'll let you know when that goes live. See you back here on Monday.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.